1 year, 10,000 road miles, 500 track miles, and over 6 grand spent. This is my take on the Porsche Cayman 987. Hello everyone, and welcome to day 410 in my Cayman. Mileage right now is 68,119, and today it's time for an update, a long overdue 1 year ownership review. I covered the first 6 months of ownership in a previous video. Click on the pop-out banner up there if you want to catch up with that. Since then, what have I got up to in this thing, and more importantly, what have I learned? I'll start in June and some attempted home maintenance. I had a knock develop at the rear after I was out of the warranty period. So I watched a few YouTube guides, figured it was drop links. Looked to be an easy fix, just 2 nuts and then swap them over. But it turned out to be a massive headache. The studs had seized solid in place. Steel stud, alloy hub. Not good. So I took it to Tom at TLB for some of his professional persuasion. He heated it, he froze it, he ground it, he beat on it, and eventually it was freed. So we got the new ones in, but still it didn't cure it. I've still got the rattle from the back. You'll probably hear it during the course of this video. I think it's some trim around the boot lid. Skipped to July and I discovered at Goodwood that Brembo OEQ brakes are absolute garbage. I wore half of the front pads away in my first session. For track use, they're trash. So then, after Goodwood, I fitted a set of EBC Blue Stuff NDX pads all round. August started with a day at Bedford where I got to try the Blue Stuff pads out properly, and they were really good. So I'm in a happy place brake wise. And then August finished with this passing its MOT. September saw me back at Goodwood for another half day on track, managed 6 sessions in the morning, just shy of 100 miles. And that finished off the Blue Stuff pads on the front axle. My thoughts on them? Very good. So in October I replaced the Blue Stuff pads on the front, and because they had some odd wear, which I think is because of the disc airflow, I fitted some proper left and right handed discs, but just some basic Tarex road pads this time around. In November I've got nothing to report on the Cayman, but Lewis swapped his 330i Touring for something a bit more potent. So naturally, we got up super early one Sunday morning, and after a nice big breakfast, we went out and woke up some wildlife. And in December, it was back to Mortimer's for its annual service, and while it was in their hands, I had them look at the front left suspension, because there's a creak from that corner that comes and goes. Inexplicably, it's been silent for the last 4 months, but when it's active, you can really hear it. They had a good look at it all. They couldn't pinpoint what it was. Suspected it could be a coffin arm on its way out, but it passed its MOT, everything seemed tight, so it's been left. All's good. And I finished December with my first modification to this car. New head unit, new dash cam, and a reversing camera as well. So, the point of this video, what's owning a Porsche Cayman 987 for a year like? Let me start first with the negatives. Now on to the positives, and I'll summarise it quite simply with a few headline words. Cheap, practical, robust, tactile, capable and rewarding. Each one of those is a solid reason why you should buy a Cayman. Cheap because it's cost an awful lot less than I thought it would. I was prepared for a lot more, especially considering the badge on its nose. It's surprisingly economic. I've had a high of 32.5 miles per gallon, a low of 12.7 and an average of 24.9. Here's where the 6k spent has gone, mostly fuel, brakes and tyres so far. I'm happy enough with that, quite pleasantly surprised if I'm honest. Without the track spend on tyres and brakes, and we're doing 5,000 miles only, it would only have cost me about £3,000 for the entire year. That's a bargain. Practical, because it's quite ridiculous how much space this thing has got. The August day at Bedford was a 2-night long weekend away. I took my buddy Sean, we had our overnight bags, our helmets, I took my toolbox, a couple of camping chairs, and it took all that without needing to use the space immediately behind the front seats under the net. The front and rear storage in these things is huge and robust because seas drop links aside, this thing has soaked up everything that I've thrown at it. And I've not been easy on it. I've tripled its annual mileage, done 4 track days and 2 auto solos. But still, everything's good. They're designed for it, they're built for it, and they cope with it. Tactile because everything just feels so right and it's all in the right place. The cabin feels snug, you've got plenty of headroom, but you feel nicely cocooned. You could say it's compact and bijou. The controls are positioned just so, everything's weighted and feels as you'd expect. You feel the engine spinning through your back, you feel the weight moving, and you feel the influence that has on the grip at each corner. And this, the hydraulic steering, it talks to you constantly. Interacting with this car is intuitive, sensuous even. Capable because being mid-engined, all of the weight of this car is between the 2 axles. And what weight there is really low down because of the flat 6 motor. And all that makes it feel very direct, it's very responsive, and it's beautifully balanced. On track, on road, it really doesn't matter. It feels good anywhere. It feels good everywhere. And finally, rewarding because driving this thing hard is one of life's joys. It's only a 2.7 Cayman, so it's not that quick. It's quick enough to be quick, but not too quick to drive it hard. That does mean that when I'm on track with only 245 horsepower, I have to work really hard to keep up, to extract the pace. And the flip side of that is that on the road, it gets to work hard. I get to drive it hard. You don't need to keep backing off. You can just stay on it. It's wonderful. To summarise then, instead of those 6 words, here's just one that combines them all. Sublime. The Porsche Cayman 987 is just sublime. For what this has cost me to buy and run, I think genuinely that I've unwittingly hit the Porsche ownership sweet spot. What do you think? I'm interested in your thoughts. Let me know in the comments section below. In other news, I have a new addition to my fleet incoming, something to relieve the Cayman of daily commuting and domestic duties. Compared to this, it couldn't be more different, but the 2 cars are remarkably similar. I think it's an interesting choice. Delivery is currently estimated end of June, but there is a slight chance it could come sooner. Fingers crossed. The 5-month lead time is going to be tough. I can't wait. Back to the Cayman. If this is a possible car for you, or if it's on your list of maybes, I hope you found this video useful and informative. If you have any questions about the car, anything specific, let me know in the comments. Please give this a thumbs up, subscribe, don't forget to hit that notification bell, and thank you very, very much for watching. 32, come on. Let's get done in 40.